What up? What up? All right. Well, one of the scariest things that I have ever encountered just occurred where I was flipping through the channels, going to CNN.com, and I saw on the preview screen that Thursday night football was going to be happening in about 10 minutes. And I was like, OMG. Every person who is in a fantasy league and realizes they haven't made their picks for the week, and I hadn't made my picks, so I was going to take this 10 minutes ago, but anyways, that was scary. I got them in just the nick of time. What do we got here? A little email. Oh, Alexian, what's up? Hey, Dowdy, movie night is at 6:30, right? I think I might have forgotten to tell that class that the movie was online today. So hopefully Alexian got my email tonight that no, we're not at York watching the movie. Watching a little Donald Trump Ito.
He has been so bad to Israel. And Bibi is a great guy. I know him. I think. And I thought he made a great speech the other day at the United Nations. I was one of the few people, I think the only, but he asked me to make an ad for him for his campaign. So I was greatly honored. I made an ad. He won. I was happy. I took full credit for it. Okay? Full credit.
He's so humble. I took full credit for him winning the election. Anyways, function and rise of the political parties. Oh, by the way, you better believe I'm going to watch the 15 minutes left of Donald Trump talking in Las Vegas tonight, later on this evening. He is so awesome. All right. Function and rise of political parties. As you know, political parties, the Big Tent theory, the idea that political parties, and again, the goal of a political party is to win elections. The more elections you can win in the House, the Senate, the presidency, oh my goodness. Trump, wife, daughter will join him on the campaign trail. I'm watching CNN now. There's his daughter. Anyways, the idea that both major parties want as many people under their tent as they can possibly get, and some of them or many of them are going to have different views on the direction of the parties, but you want to get as many people in your party as possible. So one of the number one functions that they have is to nominate candidates for office. They use a variety of systems for that we're going to talk about when we talk about elections. A caucus, we talked about in Iowa, they use a caucus. The primary system is most common. New Hampshire, the second state, uses a primary. We'll talk about the differences in those two as we talk about elections next week. Part of the reasons why we've had a de-alignment with political parties is it's easier for individuals to run for office, especially with technology as it is today, without getting the blessing of the party. You can run for office like Trump and really have your political party, the Republican National Committee, not really probably wanting him or supporting him for the position. But you have a ton of options in regards to getting your name out there, whether it be internet, Twitter, etc. Donald Trump is the king of Twitter. I saw an article that commented on how he is so far ahead of other candidates in using social media and technology. Oh, goodness gracious. Now they're showing a picture of Sanders and Clinton. Can't wait till next Tuesday for that. So our elections have become more candidate-centered as opposed to party-centered, and we'll talk about that in more detail later. The political parties raise and spend campaign funds, declining importance with, as we talked today in many classes, the ban of soft money going from the national political parties directly to candidates. Candidates again. Campaigns again have become candidate-centered. Obviously, simplification for voters in regards to voting. A lot of people, when they go to the poll, don't really know all of the candidates who are running for the various offices, but may vote based upon party. There are individuals who will base their vote strictly upon the D or the R or the G for Green Party, L for Libertarian Party on the ballot next to the name. It does unify diverse interests. Again, I've made this a point during my discussions on political parties and on this election that the Republican Party is very split, but they still fall under the umbrella of the Republican Party or the tent of the Republican Party. So, although Republicans are a very diverse party and there are individuals in the party who have very different beliefs, I don't think they're going to vote for the Democratic Party, the Libertarian Party, etc., if their selected candidate or preferred candidate doesn't get the nomination. When I say act as a moderating influence on government, it does moderate, meaning, again, you're taking a whole bunch of diverse views in the Republican Party. And even so in the Democratic Party, you have socialists or those that lean socialists that support Bernie Sanders. And then you have individuals who are more in the middle who may support Hillary Clinton. So it takes individuals. The beauty of our country is pluralism, the idea that there is such a diverse variety of views in our country, and it brings them together. Again, we talked last unit about how our political parties have become very partisan and very split in regards, or polarized in regards to policy issues. And unfortunately, while we have individuals in a party, Republican and Democrat specifically, it doesn't mean there's a lot of collaboration or a lot of compromise between the two parties. Diffusion of power. Again, the idea that power is diffused from the central government into the parties, yada, yada, yada. Provides patronage. Again, patronage is the idea that individuals may get jobs if they commit all of their support to a party or a candidate, and then that candidate gets elected, and then they possibly might get jobs or contracts from the government. That has really decreased over the last 50, 60 years. Patronage is not as strong as it is or used to be at the federal level, especially. At the local level, the city of Chicago, a fine example, and we talk about party machine, the Democrats really have a vast control over politics in the city of Chicago. And if you're a Republican, you really don't have any power. Inform the public through party platforms. Each party actually comes up with a platform at their national convention, and that platform will often mimic or really, really focus on the ideas or the stances of the two major candidates who win for the Democratic and Republican Party. Again, the whole concept of this unit is linkage institutions. The idea that political parties link individuals to the political process. Most individuals are only going to, vote for, whatever position, whether it's president, governor, House of Representatives, Senate. They're not going to run for office. Many are not going to work for a campaign. But by voting for someone who you believe represents your views, you are linked to the political process. Interest groups, the same way. If you have a really strong belief in a particular interest, you can attempt to affect public policy by joining an interest group. That's another linkage institution. Now, the rise of political parties, this set of notes, like this historical aspect, you're not going to really need to know that for this test. Next year, you'll need to know it for U.S. history. But we do have different historic patterns of political parties. We've talked about how the Republicans kind of changed, became more socially conservative in the last part of the 20th century, etc. So I want to get too enamored with this particular set of notes. There's some stuff on here. Could it show up? Maybe. I don't know. Some of it we've talked about, the Southern philosophy of focusing on socially conservative issues. Got 20 seconds left. So I would not get enamored with it. The last thing I'm going to say is divided government is when the president is of one party and Congress is of another. This leads to less things getting done, and it leads to a lot of polarization. We have historically had divided government more than anything else. Peace.